surprised you the most once you did get that access, something that you would not have anticipated going into the project?
One thing that surprised me, I mean, already back in 2014, Airbnb's reputation was a lot cleaner than Uber's, right? I mean, it likes to shine its own halo, so to speak, you know, and in its idealism of restoring authenticity to travel and bringing hosts together with guests. But when I got into the history, you know, I found that very much like Uber, they faced a set of regulations in every city that were, you know, contrary to their aims. There were places, you know, around the world, like New York City is a great example, where it was simply illegal to go and rent your home for less than 30 days. Those laws had nothing to do with Airbnb. They were kind of broadly trying to prevent illegal hoteliers from removing homes from the community and disruptive tourists from coming in and disturbing neighborhoods. And yet, you know, Airbnb really operated from the same Silicon Valley playbook, which is launch first, ask for permission later, you know, beg for forgiveness. And so that to me surprised me because the reputation was so different.
Right, but in the end, behind the kind of external gloss, they were pursuing in some ways quite similar strategies. Can you talk a little bit about those, you know, they're both fighting very tough incumbents. You think the taxis, the hotels, and those regulations. Can you say what the similarities and differences were in terms of how they were pursuing those strategies?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Airbnb did it with a little more acuity, there was a little more gentle. 3 months after Uber launched in the city of San Francisco, the company got its first cease and desist letter from the taxi commission. And you know, Travis Kalanick at the time was really just an investor and an advisor. But the second he kind of sniffed out that this was going to be bigger than he originally thought, which is an interesting point we could come back to, which is that, you know, these companies were surprises even to their creators. But so it was going to be bigger than he thought, and it was going to be a fight. And he loves a fight. And he came into that first meeting with the head of the taxi commission, and he basically read her the riot act. And in fact, some of those regulators who would meet with Travis early on said that he would purposely go into the room and position his chair so that his back was facing to them. As like a sort of power play.
Yeah.
And you can draw a straight line to the current turmoil around Uber and see, you know, that it's not a surprise. This guy is really a jerk. Again, trying to use nice language.
Right.
Airbnb, you know, was
That's the nice version. Yeah.
It was, I mean, you know, they, again, like, maybe there was a little more regulatory ambiguity when it came to Uber. With Airbnb, it was really just frankly illegal in some places. And they would launch anyway, and they wouldn't necessarily inform their hosts that they were risking, you know, a ticket from the city or even eviction from their landlord. And I chronicle in the book instances when that happened. But when Brian Chesky and his co-founders were called in to talk to regulators, they always ended up leaving a pretty good taste in the mouths of those. Like, they would end up kind of, and you know, we actually today, Airbnb forged a partnership with the city of San Francisco after a lot of back and forth and some litigation. You know, they get to partnership.
Right.
Whereas Airbnb, I would talk to regulators that would say, you know, we looked for a long time at how to make Lyft legal, but Uber not, which is remarkable because they're the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was like Uber is just a little more combative, a little more contentious, whereas Airbnb realized that you ultimately needed to partner with these cities and make them comfortable with a service that is, in many respects, disruptive.